Hey guys, welcome back to another F1 23 video. The My Team Career Mode journey for Cross GT Racing. We are halfway through the season now, coming off the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, the heart and home of Formula One. A pretty mixed race we had here. A lot of really good action, a lot of good overtakes, some really close wheel-to-wheel action. Which is what we like to see in terms of motorsport, especially in Formula One. Nice little move there on Perez to get in front of him, heading around to that final corner of that lap there. Really close there. Nice battle with Fernando Alonso, I believe, in that lead Aston Martin. Lance Stroll wasn't doing too bad either. He was probably only a few positions behind him. So he was in the mix as well. So Aston Martin showing that there's Stroll right there. There's only a couple of places behind me. Really showing what they can do in the Aston Martin. And a nice little battle here. We had ducked to the inside to get around Perez, and a nice move there. It did all come undone, unfortunately. Right here, right at that point there, Perez going for a move up the inside. He wasn't close enough to really make that move. So, made contact with us, and that was pretty much our race done from that point. The two Mercedes drivers running away with this race until a mishap of their own right there. George Russell looking to make a move up the inside of Lewis Hamilton, and it looks like he just locked up the brakes a bit and went straight on into Hamilton, and he ended up having to go into the pits. And that was pretty much the end of his race as well. George Russell did bring it home for Mercedes, getting the win, showing that they are still the most dominant team this season. But I'm sure they weren't too happy about that after the race. But we are now looking for a brand new driver for the team. Fittipaldi's contract is up. We are deciding between Tatiana Calderon, I haven't pronounced that right, and Ralph Boschung. We're going to go with Mr. Boschung. I think that he's probably got the slightly better stats. Not that that's probably going to make too much of a difference. They're pretty similar. Ultimately, we just need a driver that's not going to cost as much. We save $1 million right there by not signing Fittipaldi. So that being the main thing, we want to upgrade the facilities as much as we can. Heading into the R&D section now, looking to get some more upgrades on the car. We've got 1,300 resource points. We just had a Aero upgrade come onto the car, which is great. We're going to try and get another one now because our Aero department, in terms of our performance comparison, you can see there, second from the bottom. So yeah, we definitely need to get that up. So we're looking at getting a major one on the car. And just as we do that, we have a chassis upgrade fail that we tried to rush. So that's going to cost us some extra resource points to get back onto the car. So that's unfortunate. But, we're going to try and... We're taking risks. We are trying to get as many upgrades on as quickly as we can. So I'm going to be rushing as much as I can in terms of R&D. Just having to set a brand new rival for the next half of the season. Esteban Ocon being our new rival. I think that's going to be a pretty good battle between the two of us. Another power upgrade that we've decided to try and get onto the car there. On the vehicle comparison, we are at the top for our power units still, which is great to see. Hopefully we can just keep building on the rest of our departments to get them up as well. So there's a lot going on. I can't even keep up. Just upgrading some perks as well. I've got quite a lot of money, and so I figured why not use just a little bit of that to upgrade some of our driver perks. Just a couple there upgraded should help us out to upgrade the team moving forward. Second half of the season underway. We are in Belgium for the Grand Prix here at Spa. I think it's probably the longest lap in the circuit. Probably 1 minute 40-ish for a lap here. I find this track, it's a fun track to drive, high speed track, I do find that it's a bit harder for me to be consistent here. I don't know why. I think it's just that with the lap being longer, it just feels like it's just more taxing to drive, even though it's less laps than some other races. But still one that I like to drive anyway. And with our power unit being right up the top, I think we can have a good chance. In a good position here, a little bit of a slide. Got a little bit too much of that curbing there and lost some contact with the road, throwing the aerodynamics out a bit. We managed to save it. Coming up to this sort of final chicane here, and it looks like Piastri's moved out of our way, but we've overcooked it a bit heading into the chicane. Bottas looks like he's on a lap as well, and he doesn't end up slowing us down. We end up just slowing ourselves down. But even with that little mistake there, still good enough for P3 at this point. It is still only the first lap of qualifying, but we stick with that lap because it seemed pretty good. P8 for Q1, so that's automatically put us through to Q2. George Russell finishing P1, half a second ahead of second place, ahead of his teammate Lewis Hamilton. And our teammate, brand new Ralph Boschung, finishing P22, but that's to be expected. This is his first Grand Prix for our team in this car. He's a few tenths off De Vries' time, but De Vries has got quite a bit more experience than him, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm not expecting miracles from him. Enzo couldn't really perform too well in the first half of the season. I'm not expecting huge results from Ralph, but we would like to see him do reasonably well, at least finish sort of ahead of some of those back markers in this car. As you can see now in Q2, things are starting to darken up. The clouds are starting to come in, so some signs of rain on the horizon. We've decided to go out early in the session, or early-ish in the session, just to try and get a good lap in before the track gets too wet. And it looks like we're doing some pretty good time here. We've had a pretty clear run on this track so far this lap. Hitting that chicane much better this time around. Up to the line, and we're going to end up P5 at this point. Again, it's only one lap. We haven't done a second lap yet. Oh, a bit of a slide there. Don't know what I did there, but currently sitting P8 now. Just looking at the times, we're fastest through Sector 1. Sector 3, we're pretty much where I think we need to be, pretty much in the middle of all those other drivers, but Sector 2 is definitely where we are behind. We are about a second slower than everyone in front of us in Sector 2. If we could polish that sector up and get on track on sort of the same pace as everyone else through Sector 2, we could be sitting up the top there where Max is sitting right now in P1. P8 for us, we end up finishing inside the top 10, so through to Q3, and as you can see in the background, the rain is starting to come down now, so could make for an interesting Q3 as we head out onto the track. And it looks like the sun is starting to come out a little bit, so we had just that little bit of rain at the end of Q2, and it looks like it's all stopped and everything's starting to clear up now in Q3, which is great. It means we can get out on these soft tyres and put in another competitive lap. And it looks like we're doing pretty well so far. Oh, a little bit of indecision there. I think we've made the right call there. Could have been a track limits warning. Also could have spun out the car there, getting right up on the curb. So we do lose a little bit of time there by going wide, but better than crashing out in Q3. Heading down through the high-speed Sector 3, really pushing the car here. We're sitting on par with the other front runners in that sector, so I'm confident about our ability to get through here. Nice run through that chicane up to the line, and it's a 1:47.4 there, so quite a bit off the pace of Carlos Sainz. We finished P8 in Q3, 1.2 seconds behind Sainz, so way off the pace. Although I'm saying that the top 5 2 tenths between them, and then P6 Lando Norris a second behind. So we're sort of sitting up there in that sort of mid to top tier, which should be it's where I would expect us to be at this point. We're probably still punching above our weight a bit, but we'll take that. You know, we decided from the start we were going to get the best power unit and focus on chassis and try and get the best performance we can right off the start of the season. And hopefully we can keep doing that through the second half as we head off to race day.
It's wet here today and we're expecting those downpours to continue. This will make for a difficult sprint for all the teams.
Alright, so it's going to be a wet sprint race here today. Both strategies calling for intermediate, so no difference in what we do here. 5 laps around Spa and the rain is bucketing down. And we are off and away. A reasonably good start from us. Not a great start from Gasly as he falls behind. We managed to sneak up the inside of Norris there. And we pushed our way up into P6. We've already gained a couple of positions here. So we're trying to go around the... just trying to get around Alonso there, but he doesn't give us the space and he just pushes past. You know, good wheel-to-wheel racing there. But now that has cost us some time. Norris now capitalising. Very hard to see here as we go right up the inside of Norris and it slows him down. Opens up the door for Stroll, who comes through, and he's probably gained about 3 or 4 positions himself so far this race. He's gotten ahead of Norris and ahead of both Alpines. Oh, we've slid off the track there. Bit heavy on the brakes. Straight onto the grass. And Stroll capitalising yet again. He's now up into P6. Right behind his teammate, Fernando Alonso. And we've fallen back to P7. Still getting used to this wet track. Norris, easy overtake for him as we just give him all the space in the world. And it is not looking like a very good start from us. It started off really well. Couple of quick little overtakes heading into turn 1. As now we round the final few corners here through sector 3, and we are losing some time way off the track there, and we've almost been clipped by Ocon there, who came flying through. Luckily nothing happened there. He was, we were so far up the track and he was moving so quick I didn't even have time to react when I saw that arrow come up. And Ocon gets back in front of us, but we end up getting alongside him. Bit of a slide there, a little bit of contact I think we had just there. We managed to get around the outside of him at turn 1. We take that position back. But a really scary moment back there as Ocon came flying past in sector 3. And here we are again, that corner. We managed to do it properly this time. Ocon still sitting behind us, half a second back. Oh, big slide again. We've lost control of the car straight over the grass. Luckily, no track limits warning for us there. It's so wet, the track right now. There's so much rain coming down. I'm surprised that we are still able to race properly on these intermediate tyres. If we get caught on that little orange part of the curb there, that little raised part got stuck underneath the car and we couldn't turn off there, so we've lost even more time to the guys up the front. And again, straight off the track again, heading up through, I can't even remember what that section is called. That really famous section of Spa that I should know the name of, but I cannot remember the name. But anyway, another track limits warning there. It's only a few corners later, we've got another one. One more and we'll have ourselves a penalty, so we're going to have to be really careful now for the rest of this race. Still sitting in P8 ahead of Ocon, who's now 6 tenths, or he was 6 tenths. But he's still about half a second behind us. He has been for the last couple of laps, so we're maintaining some good pace over him, which is what we want, seeing as he is our current rival for the next half of the season. Up to the line, 3 laps down, 2 to go, and these are probably one of the 3 longest laps of my life, to be fair. Spa's already a long enough track as it is, and now that we're in the rain, it's just made it even worse. Ocon making really easy work of us there going up the inside. And now we are on the back foot here. And we go off the track a little bit there. Luckily they didn't deem that a track limits warning. I think I sort of probably wasn't going fast enough to deem that was I guess beneficial to us. Almost into the wall there, just didn't have enough traction to get around that corner. We're going to look to go up the inside of Ocon, and we managed to just squeeze past them. Very daring move there. We probably shouldn't have made that move. Ocon, looking back at it now, that space that we had over Ocon, I don't think it really warranted an overtake there. Ocon, that was his corner. He could have closed the door on us if he wanted to, but you know, had the wherewithal to avoid the collision. We probably should have, you know, maybe thought about that a little bit more. Lost the front of the car the other way this time, heading into the chicane. We managed to pull it back though. And I think we're just carrying too much speed and just braking too hard, heading into that section there. And we're just all over the place right now, just really trying to hold on to the car. Ocon looking to go up the inside, he doesn't do it. And we're on to the final sector of this race. It's the end of lap 5, sector 3. We are 7.5, almost 8 seconds behind Norris. So the guys in front are so far ahead of us. Carlos Sainz taking the sprint race here at Spa. We're just one chicane away from getting across the line ahead of our rival. We managed to hold on to the car one time and get through the chicane nice and clean, and we end up crossing the line in P8.
Right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So we managed to get ourselves into the points. There's only 1 point, but every point counts. So we finished the sprint race P8. Tough race. The rain not making it fun at all, but we managed to finish ahead of Ocon, and that's the main thing, is staying ahead in the rivalry. I'm not looking to win races right now. We just want the acclaim.
Welcome then, as we take a step back into the nostalgic golden days of motorsport. Spa is unashamedly a throwback, and all the better for it. Climbs, drops, sharp turns, chicanes, sweeping high-speed corners, all while taking in some of the most beautiful scenery that Europe has to offer. This might sound like a travel brochure, but it's not. It's a race day. Welcome along to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 meters of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Norris, the captain, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Magnussen, Gasly, Albon, Leclerc, Hamilton, Bottas, Joe, Sargent, Tsunoda, De Vries, Hulkenberg, and Ralph Boschung. And now it's time to head down to the track. And with me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the captain. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
So there is the starting grid for the Belgian Grand Prix here at Spa. We've managed to get ourselves up into P7, thanks to a grid penalty for Charles Leclerc. We're going to be going softs to mediums for this one. Medium hard being the alternate strategy for us, but I feel like we can hold on with the softs. Hopefully stick with the guys at the front, and then we can use the mediums that we are more comfortable with, and probably perform better on towards the end of the race. Oh, bit of contact with Norris heading into turn 1 there. Luckily no body damage there, no front wing damage. So we managed to get out of that pretty well. Nice dry race today. None of this wet weather racing that we had in the sprint, so probably a much better, more consistent performance today. Cheeky look up the inside there from a mile back. Was never going to happen, but thought, why not? You know, we've got the power unit to do it. I'm pretty happy. I feel like we could, get on the brakes a lot later and a lot harder than the other drivers. And with all the cars being bunched up, why not give it a go? It doesn't pay off, but we're now right behind Norris and Stroll as well. Oh, I managed to just keep it on the track there. I thought someone went off further up, but no, that was just my eyes deceiving me. Trying to go on the outside of Norris there, doing all sorts of little looks around the inside and the outside so far this lap, just to see what we can get away with. All it ends up doing is losing us some time. We're now 8 tenths behind Norris, but we managed to gain that back through sector 3. Another look up the inside from way back and before we head into that chicane. Obviously doesn't pay off, but we're in a really good spot now, using the battery to just get a little burst of speed, and we've managed to get in front of Norris. And we also got the inside of Stroll as well. He looked like he was braking a little early there, and I wasn't expecting it, and had to quickly duck the car off to the inside. And we've managed to gain 2 positions there in one run. So there's the pass on Norris, and then we start following Stroll, and I thought right there we were going to stop behind him. I thought he was going to go a bit further, but he ended up slowing down really early and we stuck to the inside. But we'll take it. So now we've managed to push our way up into P5. Piastri has also managed to get past Stroll as well. So now both McLarens sitting P6 and P7. It's only lap 2, and I feel like we've already seen enough action for probably half the race. So hopefully signs of things to come, a lot more action there. As we cross the line, a 1:48.4, fastest lap of the race, and that power unit showing its worth here. A lot of high speed straights. You can really use those areas to stretch the legs of this car. As we go off the track a little bit there, but we managed to hold on to it. We don't get a warning. Way up in front of us, Max Verstappen, got my words and stuff mixed up, battling with Carlos Sainz. They're side by side. It looks like Max has got the inside now, so he's going to make that move. They're still side by side though. Sainz still battling. Max on the inside, still going. Sainz has got the inside now, but that Red Bull just too good. And Max finally, after about 4 or 5 corners, manages to take P1. So really good battle up the front between them. So 3 laps down, it goes Verstappen, Sainz, Perez on the other Red Bull, Alonso, and then we're sitting in P5 with the 2 McLarens behind us, both outside of DRS range, which is great for us. We don't want them catching up and trying to battle with us right now, slowing us down. So we're making some gains here on Alonso, taking right in behind that slipstream. We go to the outside, Alonso going defensive, and we manage to make quick work of him. And now we've got Perez in our sights as well. P4 on lap 4. We are almost a third of the way. We're 20% of the way through this race now. 3 laps down, 15 in total to do around the very long Spa-Francorchamps track here in Belgium. Definitely pushing those track limits a bit around this track. Unfortunately for us, well, I suppose fortunately, really, it's not really benefiting us much. Perez is outside of DRS range, so he's pulling away from us. Yeah, it's not benefiting us, so we're not getting any actual penalties or warnings for it. We've got green flags now, so it looks like there must be a yellow flag somewhere behind us. I'm not sure what it is. Esteban Ocon is out of this race at the end of lap 4. So that's a huge knock for him and the Alpine team, who I think are behind, just the team just behind us in the constructors. And also a big blow for Ocon, as we're currently in a rivalry, and this essentially puts him out of gaining on us at all, unless we happen to have the huge misfortune of being of having to retire from this race ourselves. Hopefully that doesn't happen, now that I've sort of talked about Esteban Ocon losing points in the rivalry. But we're going to push on and try and capitalize on that there. So we're still sitting P4 now, because we managed to get past Alonso. And end of lap 7, we are heading into the pits to go on to some medium tyres. And oh, he almost lost the car in the pit lane there. Into the barrier, managed to hold on. I'm not sure what happened there. But man, that was a close one. We almost took ourselves out of this race before we even actually made it to pit lane. So in we go. Looks like a lot of the other teams are coming in as well, and we've had an issue getting the car on the wheel on the car. Much the same as I think it also happened in the last race as well at Silverstone. So the team definitely need to work on their pit stops, it seems, at this point. Quite unfortunate for us, as it means we've actually lost the place to Norris, so we're effectively P5 now. Is our teammate Boshang using the DRS to get ahead of us. We move out of the way, we let him go. We're not going to let Hamilton pass though. We're not racing Boshang, we're going to let him go. We are racing Hamilton. He can stay behind us. Boshang's taking his time. Obviously still getting used to the car. First proper Grand Prix in Formula 1. So we're not going to hold that against him. We're going to go past pretty easily. He doesn't fight, lets us go. And hopefully he can hold up Hamilton a bit, which seems to be what he's doing right now. And that will benefit us if he can keep him back there. The gap now between us and Boshang, when Hamilton's gone in front, the gap, well, they're all in the pits. It doesn't even matter, but the gap was 1 second, so we gained a second on him, and he managed to keep Hamilton behind him. And as everyone's coming out of the pit lane, we managed to duck ahead of Stroll and Russell as they exited the pit lane. We're back in P7 now. We've managed to lose a place to Piastri, who went into the pits a lap later than we did. We've lost so much time to Norris. Norris is now 3 seconds ahead of us. And we spent the first half of the race in front of him, and most of it at P4, and now we're sitting back in P7. We're right behind Piastri, only half a second behind him. We've gone purple through Sector 1, which is promising for us. Definitely our best sector, as we saw in I think it must have been Q2. When we looked at the sector breakdown, we were sitting purple sector for Sector 1. So definitely utilising that to our advantage. Piastri is gaining some ground on us, or extending that gap, I should say. He's now almost 1.3 seconds ahead of us in the straight. So we have lost quite a bit of time to him. Gasly's in the pit, so Gasly's gone into the pits even later than everyone else. So here I was thinking we were effectively P7. We're actually effective P6 for that last lap. As Gasly is going to come out of the pits. We're going to look at the map, back in the midfield there. Which isn't great for him, considering his teammates out of the race. But it's great for us because it means that Alpine potentially can't gain any points on us in the constructors, which is what we want. I think we're sitting P6 or P5 in the constructors at the moment. We're really close to Aston Martin. I can't remember if we're ahead of them or behind them, but it's very close between our two teams. Lap 11 now, we're 2/3 of the way through this race, and we've managed to gain some ground on Piastri again. We're back to within half a second of him. We just need to hold on. That was a very big cut around that corner there. So definitely warranting that track limit warning. Going to have to watch how we're handling this car, even though we want to try and catch up to Piastri and eventually hopefully catch up to Lando Norris. We need to watch where we're going as we do a big cut, or a little cut I should say, around turn 1. We really shouldn't be able to cut there, so close to the wall. We managed to do it anyway, which is somewhat impressive, but we are definitely pushing it a bit much at this point. We've got a good run here on Piastri, looking to make a move. He goes defensive to the inside. We go around the outside, and it looks like we're going to do it. We make quick work of Piastri there. We're finally back in front. As we take a look from Piastri's perspective here, we managed to cut him off a bit there. We had the outside and we cut right across in front of him. Piastri having to slow down a lot. He was going defensive, so he was going to slow down anyway to get around that corner. But a little bit of a cheeky move there from us. But it has helped us. We are now getting closer to Norris. We've managed to cut the gap down to Norris by about half a second. We're sitting 2.4 seconds behind him now instead of the 3 seconds we were sitting behind him at the start of this lap. Or the start of the last lap, I should say. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. We've only got 3 laps left in this race. Piastri is still behind us. He's half a second behind us. So he's still within DRS range. So he's still danger at this point. Russell and I think Hamilton behind him as well. Both Mercedes making moves up the grid in this race as well. But definitely well back from where we're used to seeing them. So that is going to help the other teams, Red Bull and Ferrari, in catching up to them in this race if they can get some good results themselves. Still battling through a bunch of these corners. We don't want to get any more warnings. We've got one, so we've got another one up our sleeve. But ideally, we don't really want to be using them. Oh, a little bit of a slide there, getting too much of that curving again, like we did back in I think it was Q1, and it did throw us off. We went wide coming out of that corner, and not only has Piastri gone in front of us, but Russell's also gone ahead as well. We're tucked into the slipstream behind them. We're right behind Russell. Bit of contact there, and the McLaren and the Mercedes battling it out in front of us. We're looking to go up the inside, heading to the chicane. We're 3 wide. Oh, a big slide there from us. I think there was some contact there with Russell. We managed to hold on to it though, and Hamilton's come up into the mix as well. And in the end, we got ahead of Piastri, but we have lost the position to George Russell. Well, what a battle that was there. 3 wide heading into the chicane. Never should have been able to do that. We lost control of the car a bit and went into a slide. Managed to hold on to it though. And what a battle that was. Hamilton's managed to get ahead of Piastri now, so now he's up into P7. Russell P5. We're sitting P6. So we're still ahead of where we started, in a good position. Good points position as we cross the line for the second to last time this race. Final lap. Hamilton sitting on a fastest lap at this point, so he has got a bonus point coming his way if he can hold on to that. We are about 2 seconds behind Russell now, so he has gained quite a bit of time on us in this last lap, so we're probably not going to catch up to him before the end of the race. Hamilton is gaining on us so quickly. Tries to go around the outside. We managed to hold him off and push him back there, but that was a scary moment, seeing Hamilton moving that quick using that super ERS that the AI seem to have in these games. So we managed to hold on to P6 there. As we look up the front, Max Verstappen heading around the chicane for the final time, and he crosses the line in P1, and then Carlos Sainz and Perez battling all the way to the end to take P2 and P3 respectively. Hamilton still battling with us. He tries to go around the outside heading into the chicane. We managed to hold on. We cut that last corner. Bit cheeky there. I don't know if he's going to have something to say about that. I don't think he would have had us anyway. Even if we'd followed the racing line, we still would have held him up and held on to P6. So, managed to cross the line in a reasonably good position. More points coming our way.
Then, and a magnificent victory here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So there's the podium for round 9, the Belgian Grand Prix. And I think this is probably the first time so far this season that we haven't seen a Mercedes driver sitting or standing on the podium in any spot. It's been a pretty dominant season so far for Mercedes, and now we've got a double podium for Red Bull, who are currently in second place in the constructors. Max taking the win, Carlos Sainz bringing home P2 for Ferrari, and Sergio Perez finishing in P3. We ended up P6, wedged in between the two Mercedes drivers who claim as many points as they could this race. Hamilton getting the fastest lap. Bojiang finishes back in P21 after Esteban Ocon's retirement. So decent performance from him today. He wasn't too far off the pace of De Vries, which is good to see from a first-time driver. As we take a look at the driver standings, Verstappen out in front now, ahead of George Russell by 14 points. Lewis Hamilton in P3, 29 points back after he started the season in P1. We are currently sitting in P9, only a point behind. I think there was Fernando Alonso there. But the constructors is where it's at for us. So Mercedes 41 points ahead of Red Bull. We are 4 points behind Aston Martin in P6. So it's everything to play for us. If we can finish ahead of them for the rest of the season, we could take P5 in the constructors, which would be huge for us heading into season 2. Alpine were a lot further back, so they're not really a threat to us at this point, other than Esteban Ocon in the rivalry. But I think we'll be fine. After the retirement he had today, we've managed to gain a bit of a buffer on him at the start of this part of the season. So I think as long as we can maintain some good performances, we'll be able to finish ahead of him in the rivalry. But you never know. We could have a retirement and it could flick back the other way, and we'd be chasing him all the way to the end of the season. But that brings us to the end of this race weekend here in Belgium. A good P6 finish for us, some extra points for the team, bringing us ever closer to P5 in the constructors. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, let me know in the comments what you thought. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do subscribe. It would really help me out a lot. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. And I'll see you later.